Yes, yes, yes. Welcome to the Blend Talk. Oh, I love our followers. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. And I want to say welcome to our new blenders. You're going to enjoy this show. We blend together insights and encouragement for the mind, the body, and the spirit. And this entire season, we've been talking about how COVID-19, this pandemic, has been affecting our lives. And today, my co host and I will be interviewing some amazing women that are going to talk about how this pandemic has affected the arts and the entertainment industry. Haven't you missed going to the movies or to the concerts,
Oh
ladies?
boy, can I
Yeah,
tell you? I am a movie buff. I have my favorites, and I make plans regularly to go to the movies, on a date with my husband, with my family.
yeah,
And I can tell you for the past year, and I can't even, it's just a blur. It has been a significant loss to me to not have the concerts, the movies, the way we used to spend time together.
yes.
That
Yeah,
has been challenging. Yes.
yeah. The social distancing piece really makes it hard to go to concerts and
Yes.
to enjoy the live music and the live
Yes.
events. So I can't wait. I'm getting excited about at least trying to jump in a little bit. Not all the way, but
I
just a
heard
little.
Broadway is opening up in September, but Dr. Karen, you mentioned loss, and just think about
Yeah.
how many people in the arts industry, the entertainment industry, like managers and writers and musicians and
Mm-hmm.
set design, the crew, the carpenters, the lighting,
Mhm.
the directors. Oh my God, when I think about
So
the loss,
many.
yeah,
They
lost
all
money.
Right. They all came together and produced, maybe a 2-hour program that we didn't even think about how
Yeah,
many people and
Right.
all that was going into that. And then when we lost it and we felt like, oh my goodness, where am I going to get entertainment from? It was so easy to think about ourselves, but today we get to focus on who was giving us that entertainment all along, all those
Yeah.
hardworking, creative,
yes.
talented people that really had their own losses going on.
And
They even had a loss of
we have
community.
amazing guests today. I
Yeah.
mean, just
Oh, yes.
absolutely. I'm so excited about our guests. I mean, some really powerful women in the industry, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Dr. Robin Smith, who is an amazing licensed psychologist, ordained minister, author. She's a media personality. She's going to share with us today.
And we have Antonique Smith
Yeah.
and Jeanette Bayadelle. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm so excited. This because here's the thing, we know just like all the other industries, the arts and entertainment is changed. It's going to be
Yes.
changed forever, and I'm so excited to hear, how people have really shifted and
Mm-hmm.
and brought that in because that's how we heal. It's how we it's the where we go to when we're trying to comfort ourselves or and so with that gone it just
Mm-hmm.
it just hurts my heart. So this is going to be an exciting show because I bet a lot of people have missed the art.
Yeah. But
Yeah, but like you said, when shift happens, it's not
right.
always a pleasant thing. It's so disruptive. I mean, they lost their community. They
Yeah.
even lost
Mm-hmm.
a sense of worth and value. Creatives need to constantly create. So
Yes.
they may have been in soup lines. They may have been depressed. They may have had abusive situations in relationships because they can't deal with the anxiety and the uncertainty. That's why
Yes.
this is so great to have Dr. Robin Smith with us today to just unpack some of
Yeah.
these
Right.
issues that we
You
need to
know,
discuss.
I think though we need to remember change, even though it's painful, it does usher in growth. And I think we've seen in all the industries we've looked at, we've seen people adjust to their new situation. Growth has happened, expansion, opportunities, new opportunities. I am encouraged when I see those things. I know not everybody bounces back at the same rate, but we want to highlight the fact that you can bounce back no matter how difficult things seem.
I
Yeah.
mean, because we have to think about the arts and entertainment industry is what I think like 4.5% of our GDP, right? And the gross, domestic product. And so we have to bring arts and entertainment back in order for our economy and everything to thrive, right? So it's not always just one piece of the puzzle as far as what we're experiencing is, but how are we going to bounce back and really get back to a place? Because many, just think about the jobs that were lost. And I think about, not, and I won't say the starving artists, but think about those people who were just kind of making it and going to the auditions and shifting and adjusting, but then even their second jobs, the restaurants and all the places, all of those were shut down too. So
yeah.
Well, how are they going to make ends meet? Like what I mean, I can imagine that that has been not just a emotional drain, but even a physical drain, because they probably had to move out of their homes or their apartments or just to function. And so it's multi-layered for them.
Think about musicians traveling and working together, and people on Broadway traveling and working together. They create such a family, and for them to be dispersed and not have that sense of community, sometimes we wonder, how did they handle it emotionally and mentally and spiritually? How did they survive? That's why it's going to be so great for our blenders to hear from Dr. Robin Smith and our recording artists who are fabulous, Antonique Smith and Jeanette Bayou. Oh my gosh, we're going to really get some insightful conversation today.
Yeah, and I always think about it from the perspective of the body, right? Because the doctor, so many people have to get themselves and keep themselves in that physical shape ready. Because listen, Broadway entertainment, all the things, that's a very physical, and even dancers, right? Because we don't think about the dancers, they had to stay in physical shape during the pandemic, right? And how were they able to maintain? Because they rehearse so much and they keep their bodies in such great physical condition. So those are even some challenges.
Well, also just that mental health piece, both for us who depended so much on the creative arts to just get our stress relief. I mean, I don't even know if you think about how much we depend on the creative arts to get our stress relief. And then think about those giving us those arts and them needing to be mentally strong so that they can continue to produce good quality, whatever it is, entertainment, and then those who support them in the background to just keep going, Well,
listen, as usual, the conversation is amazing.
We are live.
But we have to go to break. So please stay with us, because after the break, we're going to be joined by Dr. Robin Smith, affectionately called Dr. Robin. And yes, she's going to help us weigh in on how COVID changed the arts and entertainment industry.
Yeah.
And guess what? She's going to be taking questions. So blenders, please get your questions ready, because we will come back next with Dr. Robin. Stay tuned.
Thank you, blenders, for staying with us. We are so excited and honored to have the Dr. Robin Smith with us today. She is an amazing author, ordained minister, licensed psychologist, and many of you recognize her from being on many talk shows like Oprah, CNN, Good Morning. I'm Queen Latifah. She was the go-to person, and now she is with the Blend Talk. Welcome, Dr. Robin.
Hello there. This is such a joy. I'm so excited to be with you.
Yes. I feel your energy already, my dear.
Good. I came awake and present to be worthy of this moment.
Oh.
Amen. Well, you've heard us talk about what our topic is today. And when I think about the arts entertainment community, and my heart goes out to them because it's so easy sometimes when you're used to being active and creative and pouring out. And when that stopped, you wonder how their spirit, how their faith is maintained. We don't want them to give up. And I'm sure a lot of them are watching today. Tell us about your background and what you would say to them to keep that hope alive.
It's an interesting moment where vulnerability meets real woundedness. And part of the journey with COVID-19, and lest we forget the issues that have plagued this country around racism and the racial hatred and wounding. It was not only George Floyd's murder, but we saw so many things happening in 2020 that it wasn't just about the pandemic. And so when we look at people in the arts and we think, how do we hold that kind of suffering? One of the things I practice myself, and I know that many of the people that I'm working with are also beginning to understand this, is that our brokenness is actually an opportunity to take moments that we could not have planned, we would never ask for, and yet we don't have a choice. And so if we can use our brokenness and transform that trauma, it can begin to be a triumphant moment. So it's not wasted. And that's what I want all of us to really understand, that brokenness does not have to be wasted.
Yes, that's
What
powerful.
I hear you talking about is surrendering to the reality, not fighting reality. And I'm also hearing you talk about woundedness. And in this past year or so, we're hearing a lot about trauma and woundedness. And I bet a lot of people never connected that concept of being unemployed during the pandemic. Because as you said, there's layers of trauma we're experiencing.
Yeah. And the thing about the pandemic, particularly with the arts, and I so appreciate what the beginning part of your conversation talked about, which is the fact that the arts, whether we know it or not, it has not only kept us sane, but it has nurtured us when we have felt lonely and isolated. I mean, being able to having the luxury of going to turn your television set on, or now being able to use your phone, your device,
Yes.
to be kept company. And so what does it mean for those who have walked with us in midnight dark hours, who no longer were able to work? They weren't able to express themselves. And so we really want to understand what it means for an artist who is feeding people all the time to find themselves on empty with no food. And I don't mean literal food, that too, for some of them, as you said.
Yes.
Emotionally not having an environment that nurtured and gave them a song in their own midnight hour.
Yes.
Because
That's beautiful.
that identity is so powerful for them, right? Because many people in the arts see themselves like, who am I if I'm not performing? Or who am I if I'm not in my craft every day, or at least focusing on that? So what do you think some of the ways that people coped, or maybe some healthy ways that people can cope? Because you know what they do.
It's not only artists who lost their identity, but moms who were accustomed to kind of running their ship at home in a certain way, all of a sudden who went from being mothers to being teachers because schools were shut down, who didn't feel adequate to help their children, and also did not know how to take care of themselves. So
Mhm.
this identity theft, not your credit card being stolen or your driver's license, but your sense of knowing,
Yeah.
who am I? And who am I when life is good? But now who am I as so many things were stripped away? So people started overeating and over drinking and
Mhm.
over fill in the blank,
Yeah.
or neglecting themselves even more. So one of the things that was healthy, and we can still all do this,
Mhm.
is find small bite-sized ways. Sometimes we want to come up with some big Herculean thing to do. But the real way that sustainable change and transformation is made, bite-sized,
Mhm.
small things that you
Yes.
feel maybe aren't really going to make a big difference. And then small bite-sized things, you start doing that every day, just a little bit of change and a little bit of forgiveness and a little bit of self-care over time creates something monumental in your life.
Mhm.
Robin, you have authored some wonderful books. Would any of your books speak to this issue of sustainable health,
Yeah,
sustainable faith during disruptive?
sure. Actually, all three of them, but
Okay.
particularly Lies at the Altar and Hungry. Um, Both of them are about taking care of the self. We are often so, as women in particular, we're
Mhm.
so outwardly
Mhm.
motivated and we were outwardly rewarded. And so
Mhm.
there is something new about taking all that energy that we've used to nurture and feed and inspire other people and figure out, what do I need to care for myself? What do I long for and want? And I talk about the 3 B's: the moving your brain, moving your body, and
Mhm.
moving your burden. And
Yes.
so what we think about, what we focus on grows. And what grows ultimately has dominion over us. And so we've got to watch our thoughts, watch our minds. So if we get stuck on negativity, that's what I'm saying. Move your brain.
Mm.
Sometimes our brain can get stuck somewhere, and we think about
Yes.
being brainwashed as being negative.
Mhm.
But there are ways in which we need to wash our brains. We need
Mhm.
to cleanse our brains.
Yeah.
We need a new, fresh thought. We also need to move our bodies, because we've gotten stuck in COVID, and people talk about the COVID pounds. And but it is about moving the body and, getting out of that chair and walking down your steps and taking the steps instead of an elevator if you are in an office building,
Mhm.
so that you can move your burden.
Mhm.
And so we're not moving our brain, we're not moving our bodies. It's hard to move our burdens.
Mhm.
Those are some wonderful secrets. Those are wonderful tips to help our blenders navigate this pandemic, especially those that we're focusing on today in the arts and entertainment industry. Thank you so much, Dr. Robin. Please let us know how our blenders can reach out to you. We
Absolutely.
thank you so much for being with us right now. I'm sure that our producers will put the information for everyone to reach you. Do you have a website?
I do. It's drrobinsmith.com, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So come and visit me. And I actually am getting ready to launch a whole new website in July. So that will be exciting as well. So I welcome your blenders to come and visit me.
Thank you so much. This
Thank
has
you.
been so rich and
I'm
so
honored.
valuable. Be
Thank you.
blessed. We love
Yeah.
you and appreciate you.
Listen,
Blenders,
we're
stay
coming. We're
tuned. We'll
coming
be
back.
right back.
That's right. We're coming back with questions. So
Yeah.
That's right.
Right,
You can't
right.
get rid of
So-
me yet.
that's right. That's
No,
right.
not yet.
So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Blend Talk. So, on today's episode, we have been discussing the COVID pandemic and how it has affected the arts and entertainment industry, maybe for good, maybe for not so good, but we're trying to break that down today. My wonderful co-hosts and I have been talking with psychologist, minister, author, Dr. Robin Smith, and we are so grateful to have her on this segment. Dr. Smith, Dr. Robin, thank you so much for staying with us.
Of course, thank you for the honor. And I'm looking forward to some of the questions that your blenders might have.
Yeah, we are too, but I'm going to ask you a very interesting question to me, and I'm hoping you think so as well. People tend to call those in the arts and entertainment industry creatives, and that broad term, it's like a personality type. I'm wondering if you would be able to describe for us maybe what that personality can look like, what the qualities are, and if there were any qualities that creative person would have struggled more in a pandemic type situation because of being that type of person. And is there also anything that they could use about their uniqueness to thrive in a situation like the pandemic?
Yeah. No, it's interesting, and it's a great question about what does it mean to be a creative? What does it mean for someone who is an artist and who finds their juice, their fuel from listening? Part of what it means to be a creative, whether you're in the recording industry or you're on Broadway, you're a dancer or a singer, you're an engineer, is you've learned to listen, and you can hear things that other people don't always hear, and you can see things that other people don't always see because of that. And the creative's ability to share their gift and their vision, their hearing with the world, when that is limited, there's a heaviness. There's a heaviness in their spirit. Because the expression is a part of their artistry. So that might be the heavier side of it, but the benefit of that personality is in their tough times. While they can feel isolated, they also can find a wellspring of creativity. If you think about the artists who have come out over, through 2020 and 2021 on virtual platforms, dancing and singing, recording new music, all in the midst of the world being shut down. And they took to the streets, if you will, the streets in their own hearts and minds, and used it to bless the world, but also to express what was living within. And so that's an asset they have that some people really wish that they could have found that creative wellspring in the midst of very, very trying, lonely time.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Robin. That was really very clear and easy to understand. Thank you.
Yeah. So
we have
a couple of questions. We have a couple of questions here.
What's the questions?
Yeah. So one is, can you suggest some tips for people dealing with depression or ways to cope with people dealing with depression?
Absolutely. It's interesting that the pandemic, and I had the honor of being the spokesperson for the AARP Foundation. They did a very powerful initiative with the United Health Foundation called Connect to Effect. That's the number 2, Connect to Effect. And it all had to do with resources during the pandemic, particularly for not just, older adults, but for people who are isolated. And one of the things that might surprise people is that smoking 15 cigarettes a day, and there's a reason I'm sharing this, smoking 15 cigarettes a day, and this is hard to believe, partnered with obesity, is less dangerous to your health than social isolation.
Wow.
Can you imagine that it is more dangerous to be socially isolated than it is to regularly smoke 15 cigarettes a day and struggle with obesity? So I say that around this question of depression, because tips for depression, one of the tips is to not remain isolated.
Yes.
Because isolation is where our imaginations can run wild,
Yes.
where isolation is a place where very destructive seeds can grow of not feeling worthy or not feeling loved or not feeling cared. And so one of the key things anyone can do who is depressed is to find someone safe. Hear what I said. I didn't say just go find someone. I said find one safe who is worthy of your pain, who is worthy of your suffering, and tell them that you are struggling. Don't tell the person who's going to judge you. Don't tell the person who's going to spiritualize your depression away. Tell someone who can embrace you right where you are.
That is
And of
so
course, getting professional help is important, and being evaluated by a psychiatrist or a psychologist is important. But the truth of the matter is, even if you've got a great therapist, we need safe people in our lives where we can tell the truth and hear the truth.
Yes.
That's so powerful.
That is so good, because that really explains to me also why outside, once people were able to come outside, why there were so many more mass shootings and so much more violence, because people were in their heads, in their heads, in that destructive part in their heads. So that makes so much sense to me.
We can't expect to sit on our suffering or sit on our isolation or sit on our depression and it not eventually erupt. There's no, and that's all of us. So no, we may not, the four of us who are here and your guests to come today, no, we may not be the people who are committing a mass shooting. But that does not mean that all of us have not suffered from being locked in and locked up and locked down. And so until we're willing to tell the truth, I mean, the Bible says that the truth will set us free. It didn't say it would necessarily make us happy, but it said that that the truth promises freedom. And freedom is a huge part of what depression robs people of. Freedom to be, freedom to think, freedom to move in the world. So we really want to invite people to find someone safe so they can tell the truth.
Yeah, on one of our earlier episodes, we talked about people who are incarcerated in prisons and jails. And what you're speaking to is that we can live in an emotional and mental prison because of the lockdown and not even realize that our creativity, our joy, our faith, our sense of self-worth is being crushed.
Yes.
And I just really appreciate what you're sharing about that. Is so powerful.
And how often do we manicure our mess? And so it is so, I mean, we can't get free if we've manicured a mess. I mean, there's power in a meltdown.
Yes.
Instead of running from our meltdown, there's power in the meltdown. And so if we recognize that a meltdown is an opportunity, that's why I said at the beginning that our brokenness, inside our brokenness, there is so much possibility for transformation and liberation. But if I'm avoiding that which is broken in me, if I'm hiding, if you ask me, how am I doing? And I'm always smiling and I say I'm blessed and highly favored, where is it that I might say, if I'm safe, I'm blessed because I'm still here, but I'm a mess. My marriage is a mess, or my children are struggling, or I can't get my mind quiet and settled. I don't know how to re-enter the world after being in COVID. I'm scared. And so until we can tell the truth,
Yes.
we are really denying ourselves a powerful tool that will, aid and abet our lives being great and glorious.
Dr. Robin, how can we say thank you? We need you to come back because there's just so much more that we could have heard you say and share with us today, but the time, we just don't have it. So we really want to thank you so much just for what you just said. Thank you for those who sent in their questions.
Yes.
Please remember, connect with Dr. Robin. She wants you to connect with her. She wants to answer your other questions. But we have more coming up in the show. And I hope, Blenders, that you've been taking notes. Did you hear what Dr. Robin just said? We have coming up Broadway actress, recording artist, Jeanette Bayadelle, and she'll be sharing insights later on about the day Broadway went dark and how that impacted her life. But right after this break, Grammy-nominated artist and actor Anthony Smith will be joining our conversation. Please stay with us.
Time for the Blend Talk.
Hi, Blenders. Thank you for staying with us.
Yes.
We just had the most amazing conversation with Dr. Robin. Don't you agree, ladies?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. But here, next, we have, when I say aficionado, Broadway actress, acclaimed actress, singer, writer. She's, I wouldn't say triple threat. I would say quadruple threat, right? So welcome. I know that this pandemic has affected you and your colleagues in amazing, interesting ways, like not just challenging, but I'm sure it brought up some opportunities as well. Tell me a little bit about how it's affected you and all the activism and the things that you've been doing while kind of locked down.
No, it had its good moments. I mean, we lost people. So, when you lose friends like that, just really was horrible. But a lot good came out of the pandemic. I mean, the social justice movement, the Black Lives Matter movement that we're seeing right now, the reason why Juneteenth was just made a federal holiday by the president, and the reason why we have a new president, like all of this good stuff happened because of the movement that started during the pandemic. And I think even with George Floyd being killed the way he was, if it had been in 2019 when everybody was still going about their lives like normal, I don't know if we've seen so many people. I mean, how long is the list of hashtags of names that we say his name, say her name, say his name, say her name, so many names, and nothing was being done. Nothing really changed. And I think it was the fact that people were sitting at home. They could they could not look away because they were just stuck in home. So they had to look. It was like America was forced to see who they really are in that moment. And that's why everybody took to the streets the way they did. I don't think this would have happened at any other time in our lives if we hadn't have been sitting at home like that. So that was a blessing for Black people during the pandemic. The fact that this movement we were able to really be heard for the first time in all these years. And so, I'm grateful for those moments. Of course, it definitely was not the most wonderful thing for my career because Genius Reads, all this stuff was happening like 2020 January, February, early March, like my life was like, oh God, like I had just booked another ABC series. Like it was like really amazing.
Wow.
And as soon as everything shut down, all those opportunities like just stopped. Like literally the show, they're not ever going to do the show. They just decided not to do it. So all that kind of stuff happened. So I was home and I was trying to figure out like, aside from bettering myself, which I did, I was sharpening the saw and making sure I was even better as an actress and a singer when things, opened back up. And as a person, just really introspective and wanting to be better as a person when this thing goes back up. I just wanted to be across the board better than before Rona is what I was saying. I'm going to be better after than I was before Rona. It caused me also to like start having like side hustles and things because my streams of income has always been entertainment my entire life. I was a teenager. So, it was just like, let me see what else I'm good. Let me see what else I can do. What else I'm good at. Let me try some other things. So I did that, and some of it was good, and some of it wasn't. So what I find is my peace is so important. I love what I do. Like as an actor, as a singer, as an artivist, being able to use my gifts to further whatever the cause, whether, it's Black Lives Matter or I'm very much a part of the, environmental justice and climate justice movement, because people of color are the ones suffering the most from the pollution that's causing climate change and the actual effects of climate change. Like just crazy. So I love what I do. So adding something else to what I do during the pandemic, if I didn't like it, if I wasn't enjoying it, if it wasn't somehow making me feel good, if it was bringing me down like a 9 to 5, I was like, nope, not gonna keep doing that because I'm been blessed to do what I love. So then why am I gonna sit here and spend the pandemic doing something that I don't love or that I really hated? So
Anthony, while you were talking, I got that strong sense that you did love what you do and that helped you keep going. There's so many persons who wouldn't have been able to push forward so just purposefully, but I hear you saying that there's this passion about what you're doing that helped you, even though you didn't know if it would work. Everything you tried, you had to keep doing what you love because you love it. It's true. Yeah,
very true. I absolutely love what I do. The things that I tried new were things that I didn't love. It had nothing to do with entertainment. It was just like other like side hustle things. And I found a couple that I liked, and then I tried one that I hated, and I was like, I cut it. I was like, even though I invested a little money in doing this, I don't want to keep doing it because I don't love it. And so, those were my little side hustle journey through the pandemic. And a couple of them stuck. So there's a couple things that I'm still like dabbling in, when I have time outside of entertainment. And, it's really what got me through the pandemic mostly was my why. The same reason why I do what I do every day before the pandemic. My family is my why. I have always dreamed. My little sister is my baby. Like, oh my gosh, she's special needs. She's special needs, and she is like just she's my favorite person on earth. And I'm very close with her and my parents. So like we're a little foursome. And I've always wanted to just take care of them and them to be able to have a good life. I don't want my father to have to work. I want him to be on the golf course every day. And I want my mom, she has lupus. I want her to be, well. I want her to have the best of everything. And I just want them to be happy and peaceful and free. Like, so that's why I do what I do. Like, I love singing and acting, but what keeps me motivated to be successful is my family. And so that is also what got me through the pandemic and what motivated me to try other things.
I'm so glad you're sharing that with our blenders.
Such a good information. I'm sorry, we are almost out of time. This is so good information. No, this is so amazing. How can our blenders, because I know they want to reach out to you, how can they find you on social media?
My social media is all me at Auntie. It's really me. I really respond to people and I show love because I'm grateful for the love that I get from everybody. I can't, as an entertainer, you can't really do what you do without other people support. So I'm so grateful. I love you guys. I love this show. Thank you for having me on,
Thank
but my
you.
social media is my name @Antonique Smith. And if you can't spell it, go to followant.com.
All
Follow. Hey, I try to keep it simple for folks, you know?
I love your energy. Thank you for being
Great,
with us.
great,
Thank
great.
you,
Well,
ladies.
thank you, Blenders. Did you hear this? Follow Ants, okay?
Followant.com. And that's my social media is there.
Followant.com. If you're interested in more information, followant.com. And if you want more information about the blend and the Blend Talk, you can always go to the Blend Talk Show or the blendtalk.com.
Yes.
Now, next coming up, we have another amazing actress, Broadway actress, writer, singer. So listen, we have so much here for you, and I so appreciate you, Jeanette Bayardell. She's gonna actually chop it up with Dr. Karen, Dr. Jewel, and myself as well. So we got another good one for you. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We are live today. Thank you for hitting that share button. Let everybody know that we are live today. And we are talking about how this COVID-19 has affected those in the arts and entertainment. We're going to continue the conversation now with an amazing rock star. This girl is amazing. She writes drama, she writes songs, she writes gospel music, she's on Broadway, she's done some amazing things. She has a wonderful voice, which you're going to hear later, but help me welcome right now, Jeanette Bayardell.
Hello.
Hello. I wish I could read your entire bio. You are doing so many things.
Oh,
And you've accomplished so much.
well, there's still room for more.
That's
And
right.
you know, all that you've done, you look like a teenager, honey.
Try.
That does not crack. And I think there's something about doing what you love that just shines through. And even though this pandemic brought a lot of darkness, it also, as Dr. Robin Smith said, it also broke us open. And I understand that you were broken open to discover another talent that you have.
Yes. During the pandemic, I started to play the guitar. And I am so happy that I did. I never thought that I would be able to play the guitar. But I mean, when you have days of doing nothing and praying and hoping this pandemic would be over, you have plenty of time. And so I wanted to make sure that I had developed more skills at the end of the pandemic. So I was really motivated to learn, and I got to a place where I'm very happy at now. And when I started songwriting, and I was just like, wow, this is one of the good things that came out of this pandemic.
So what are some of the other ways that you were able to enrich your spirit, your mind, your body, and
Wow.
yourself, just full? Because this was a challenging time, but you overcame, and amazing.
It was definitely a challenging time. When we shut down, I was actually on Broadway. I was in a show called Girl from the North Country, and it was the last show to open on Broadway before the shutdown.
Oh.
So we had a grueling schedule. And so during when we were told that we were shutting down, we were kind of like, okay, we need a break. We didn't know it was going to be this long. But I'll tell you, after that, I would think that during the shutdown, like singing would bring me peace and stuff like that. And I really didn't want to sing. I didn't want to sing. I wanted to do something new. So I was happy that the guitar presented a new challenge for me. And once I finished my learning of the guitar, I moved on to something else, and I got heavily into finance. Like I opened a real retail trading company, and I started day trading and stuff like that. And I love finance, and I was into finance somewhat before this a little bit, but not as heavy as I am now. And I was like, wow, when you learn how to make your money make money, so that's a good thing that came out of this pandemic, because now that I know how to make my money make money, now I'm making money on Broadway and other things that I'm doing, I can make that money make money. So that was another good thing that came out of it.
Jeanette, isn't it wonderful to be able to look at all the good things that came out of the pandemic? But I'm sure you went like this first and then came back up.
Listen,
did you have that kind of
let me tell you, my
Yeah.
this came in January, because I was one of those that was watching what was going on.
Yeah.
And I was actually going to my company manager, having meetings with the producers and everything. Like, listen, guys, this show is going to close because of at the time we were saying the coronavirus. They were like, what are you talking about? What virus are you talking about? So I had been dealing with it early on. So when we actually closed, I was kind of like already prepared. Now, what I wasn't prepared for was being isolated as long as we were isolated. So I did have some times where it did get really dark. The show that I'm in, our company actually said that they were going to pay for sessions for us to see a therapist. They were like, you guys probably, may want to see a therapist. You may not, but if you do, we're going to pay for everything. So I took them up on the offer, and I did it, and it was great. It really helped me like unpack things that were going on and just talk about it, and and I didn't know I was so burdened. But one of the questions the therapist asked me, she said, "How do you feel not being on stage anymore?"
Yeah.
And I started off like, "Oh, I mean, I don't," and I just started.
Oh,
We really appreciate you sharing that, because there's so many persons out there who think, no, I don't need a therapist, but you're here. Look at you, living an example of what good therapy can do. You're here financing and making your money work and playing the guitar.
Yeah.
So and being an example for
Yes.
your fellow actors and actresses, and I can't wait to see you on Broadway. I'm excited. It opens in September. When is your show opening back?
October 13th, we will be back on stage. So I'm excited. I know it's going to be an emotional time for us, because the last time we were on stage, we were under so much stress and pressure. And now it's like we all survived it. And we were in New York City, the thick of things. There are a lot of people that were in shows got COVID and got sick. Some died. We didn't lose anybody from our cast, and everybody is fine, and everybody will be back. So I'm really grateful for that.
Well, that's a blessing. That is a blessing. Wow. And so, in your songwriting, what inspires you to write gospel music? Did you go through something in life before the pandemic that brings you this relationship with the Holy Spirit?
I've had a relationship with God for a long time. And it's just because I've been in theater for so long. I sing about all kinds of things. So, but when it comes to me being creative, I always like to sing love songs to God, or like about my relationship with God. But I mean, I'm open to singing about anything and all kinds of things. But the last couple of albums that I recorded were songs that I wrote in relationship in regards to my relationship with God.
And I can't wait for our blenders to hear you sing the song that you wrote as a result of the pandemic. The title of it alone will grab you, because I think people can relate to the title.
Yeah, we were being asked to do so much for like the Black Lives Movement and everything that was happening. Honestly, normally I'm not that active because I'm a very passionate person. And I know that when I get into something, I get in.
Mm.
Sometimes my passion can be too much. So I have to pick and choose my battles and calm myself down. So I was like, okay, so I do want to do something. And then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna write about what's on my heart. So I wrote this song entitled God, I'm Tired. And I started playing the guitar. So I was like, hey, it's my first song that I wrote on my guitar. So
Yeah, that's amazing. So, Blenders, you got to stay with us because we're going to watch the video of her playing that song and singing that song with her guitar at the end of the show. But in the meantime, we just want to continue this conversation because just to look at your face and see your smile, to see that you are resilient and that you've tapped into your faith and your why that Antoinette talked about, that is such a driving force. What is your why, Jeanette?
What is my why? My why is my destiny, my purpose.
Okay.
My purpose. I want to live a purpose-driven life. I feel God has given me certain talents, and He's put me on this earth to help other people become better. And I want to be used up before I leave this earth.
That's right. Well, our time is short, and if you could do two things for us, could you give us a tip on how other artists and those in entertainment can survive through this pandemic, even though we're going back to Broadway very soon? And could you also share how our Blenders can reach out to you?
Yes. All right. One thing is to stay connected, and community is very important.
Yeah.
We can't make it on our own. Your success, your breakthrough, your peace, your happiness is a phone call away. It's a person away. We need each other. And so remember that. Sometimes you feel like I don't want to be bothered with these people, and so they talk about me. Let's put all of that aside and understand that we need each other to succeed, to survive, to be successful. So stay connected. That would be my advice. And you can reach me on Instagram at J Bayardelle. That's J, the letter J, Bayardelle, or Jeanette Bayardelle on Facebook and on Twitter. And yes.
You're right there in New York right now, Jeanette?
I am in the Berkshires. I'm doing a show. So listen, this is my first show back. I'm doing a brand new musical that will hopefully come to Broadway at some point. It's called Row. And we are up here in the Berkshires, about 20 of us. Oh. And we'll be doing a show we started rehearsals June 15th, and we're here until August 15th. All right. And it's my first time. We're kind of in a bubble. We have to take COVID tests all the time and stay. But it's cool. And I have to tell you, being around this cast, we're all we feel blessed that we have each other, and we have a community of 20 people that we're around all the time, and we're making theater again. We were in the room yesterday for the first time, reading through the script and singing songs, and with no mask because we, are vaccinated and taking COVID tests every week. But even that itself was a little bit stressful in the beginning because you got to understand we've been isolated. Yeah, now the country is opening up, and we know that what we do involves people.
That's right.
So we have to do what we have to do to keep our company safe.
That's it.
And so it's really interesting, and I feel like it's a great icebreaker for Broadway.
Well, we need your gifts. Your gifts are healing us, and we appreciate you so much for spending time with us today on the Blend Talk. Everybody stay with us. We have more coming up next.
Time for the Blend Talk.
Welcome back to the Blend Talk. Thank you so much for staying with us. We had a powerful show today. I mean, we don't want to say it's over yet, but so far, so good. Right, ladies?
What was our favorite? What was your favorite part, Dr. Karen?
I really have had a struggle choosing favorite parts. I think because I really, at heart, and I'm a creative, believe it or not, I really appreciated the highlight that we gave to persons who were on the other side of all that we benefit from. And I'm glad that they got a chance to say, this is what it was like for us. This is what we did. So the whole show is my favorite.
How about you?
I don't know. I'm having a hard time choosing, but the information that Dr. Robbins shared was just so powerful in reference to how to come out from depression. But I'm also liking that why from Antonique, because everybody needs a why. Everybody needs a why. So I couldn't choose. So I took one of yours, Karen. Okay.
Okay. I loved it all, and I'm so glad that we got to do this live today. I want to thank everyone that is watching right now. I want to thank you for hitting that share button. I want to thank you for going to our website, theblendtalk.com, and subscribing. Be with us next week as we close out this season. I want to thank our amazing guests. They were so generous and so empathetic to the needs of the people in the arts and entertainment field. Thank you so much, Dr. Robin Smith. You are a star in our hearts and our minds. We thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much, Antonique Smith. Your fire, your passion for our community as an activist and as a singer is something we love and appreciate. And thank you so much, Jeanette Bayadell. You are just a joy to interact with. And I want everybody to stay with us because we're going to close with a song. But in the meantime, I want to let you know I appreciate you. Thank you to everyone that is watching. I am Jewel Diamond Taylor, also known as the Self-Esteem Doctor. And here on the Blend Talk, I represent the spirit.
And I'm Dr. Karen McGibbon, and I represent the mind.
And I'm Dr. Lisa Lewis, and I represent the body.
Now stay and listen to this powerful song by Jeanette Bayadell.
Quarantined all alone, always scrolling on my phone. Governmental promise loans, but not for me, I'm black owned. Wear my mask, do my part, be sure to stay 6 feet apart. Call grandma, tell her that I love her. Don't know when I'm gonna hug her. Oh, 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 oh. God, I'm tired. Oh, oh. God, I'm tired. My timeline's flooded cause another cop has done it. Another mother. I'm tired of seeing my brothers dying. Can't even cry before I feel another blow. Lynching's now a suicide unless it's caught on video. Oh, 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 oh. God, I'm tired. Oh, 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 oh. God, I'm tired. I declare war against the enemy. White supremacy and bigotry too.